All right, big space, wall, big wall, bookshelf. 9 weeks. I've got 9 weeks to make a bookshelf to go on that wall. Reason being it's 9 weeks is mum and dad are away in Europe. They get back in 9 weeks. I want to have it done by then. So step one's going to be building the base for these bookshelves. We want to make everything nice and level. It pretty much is spot on apart from that corner there, which is about 5 mil off. So I'm hoping to use all of this off-cut plywood that I've had sitting there for years. It's actually good quality plywood, but I just have never got around to using it. So I'm just going to use it now and sort of clear out my shed a little bit of that stuff. So hopefully I've got enough there to be able to knock together a nice little base for the shelf to sit on. So yeah, let's get into that. So here's the plywood. There looks like there's a fair bit, so hopefully it's enough to get us through. If not, I'm sure we can manufacture a way. This stuff's all going to be hidden anyway, so it's not a big deal if it's a bit hodgepodge, you know. Right, one down. Get used to this because there's about 40. So I've got this laser here. I've got the studs marked out on the wall. Just going to shoot the laser so that they correspond with the box below. And then I'm just going to put a screw in them and screw them to the wall. Simple. So the way I'm building this bookshelf is I'm going to have like lots of little cubes slash rectangles slash, that's it actually, cubes and rectangles. That I'm going to stack on top of each other and then eventually put a face frame on. So I've got all of my components cut here. I got them CNC'd by a bloke we know because I just didn't want to do it in here. It was going to be really heavy and just a pain in the ass. So I got them CNC'd. Process of this is all going to be identical. It may change as I find more efficient ways to do it, but for now this is how we're doing it. We're going to get rid of all these scraggly bits on the edge first using a router. So we'll run a chamfer bit around the edge of that and just knock those off. Then we'll flip it over, we'll sand the face while we have access to all of the corners. Then we'll stand it up on edge, shoot some nails in, assemble the box, and then once the box is assembled, we'll drive screws in it just to secure it even more, and that should have us a nice, secure, square box. That's the plan. We've got a lot to do, so let's get into it. So we've got a couple of PowerPoints that we're cutting out of this. We want to still access the PowerPoint, so that's why we're doing it. I've taken down dimensions for where they sit, so I'll transfer those onto this section here, and then, yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so now I'm going to drill out the corners of each one of these. Before I do though, I'm going to mark the point of this drill bit. I don't know if you can see that. So that my drill bit doesn't wander and go outside these lines. So I'm going to use this block here that's a perfect right angle. I'm going to line it up with the lines that I've drawn on here, and then I'm just going to press the drill bit down And I'll do that for every single one of them. You know what? I'll give it a little tap. I'll put this scrap bit of ply underneath so I don't drill through my lovely table. All right, so we drilled out the corners. Now it's time to route out all the internal. This is going to get a bit messy. So we've cut all the holes. Now I don't really love the outside look of that, so we're going to use some scrap timber here, and we're going to picture frame the edge of all these. So yeah, we'll get stuck into that. So this is the critical one. Once this is locked in position, the rest of them will just sort of slide in next to it. Right, well, we've missed the start on that one, which is awesome. Studs there, not there. All right, so we've come to a bit of an issue. This box here is about 5 mil short of the box below, which means that if I was to put a strip on this edge, the face frame on this edge, it's gonna have to be stepped as I go down, which I don't really want. So my plan is I'm gonna bring this box out to be flush with the edge. That's gonna look like that. Then there's gonna be a bigger gap on this one here, but once the face frame goes on this, I don't think you're gonna really notice that compared to this stepped edge. So that face frame is gonna be 46 mil, whereas the rest of them are about 40 mil. Reason being as well, the amount of dividers in between pushes or elongates the lower row, whereas because there's less dividers in the row above, it means that it's tighter together. which has resulted in this gap here. So that's the game plan. Looks a bit shit now, but it'll look alright in the end. Alright, there we go. So I've chucked a few packers in there just to keep it all consistent. A couple of packers in the back as well. Yeah, it's gonna look fine, I promise. All right, so we're doing a big box now. This will house like artwork and just break up sort of like the boxiness of the whole thing. I'll take you through how I'm gonna join these. I'm out of breath just lifting these two. I think I'll chuck some biscuits in these and then tie them together with these little metal brackets, just so that it doesn't get any separation. So yeah, that's what we're doing. Jesus. Right, so it's been about 3 weeks since I last worked on this. I've been busy with work, but I also find myself procrastinating on these bigger projects a fair bit. I think just the size of them can be quite overwhelming at times, so it's hard to just, when you get an hour or two here and there, to come in here and try and knock off a bit. But we're here today and we're going to try and get back in a groove. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Camera died, so I missed a couple. Alright, boxes are done. Ignore the gaps, we'll cover them. Alright, so off camera I've made these little packers. I've got 15 of them down here. And what we're gonna do with these is we're gonna put them in and fill this negative space here, so we have something to screw to when we've got the frame going in on the outside. So yeah, we've got 5 on the right, 5 on the left, and 5 on the top. So that's what we're doing next. All right, this is the bit that I've been pacing back and forth for hours about. So I'm gonna use this multi-tool. I need to cut into the cornice and also the skirting board down the bottom. I've got my reference piece, which is the timber I'm using to cover these side sections. So I'm gonna put that in there and cut up against that into the cornice, and then I'll just pry the cornice out so that, yeah, this can slide in behind it and it has a nice flush finish. But yeah, I'm nervous. I don't like doing this bit, but we gotta do it. So yeah. All right, so now we're putting in the trim to cover up all the ugly black squares that we just chucked in. Now the challenge here is scribing. So we're gonna scribe it to the ceiling. I've watched a few videos online. I've never actually done this before. So this will be a bit of fun and also frustration, I imagine. All right, so I'm just gonna pull out the little tack nails that I chucked in to hold it in place. It's not what you want. All right, we're gonna hammer those. We're gonna hammer those in. All righty. All right, next step here, we're raising the blade up. And then we're gonna remove the riving knife. And then we're gonna tilt this blade so it's back bevel, only slightly. And then we're gonna freehand this. ignore this. We'll fix that up later. I had a bit of an accident with my friendly router. Anyway, next step here is we've got these trim pieces that we're going to put on the face. So we'll glue and nail those in just to cover up all of the MDF edges. So there's going to be a bit of back and forth here going to and from the workshop. But yeah, that's what we're doing. Fun.
Ting, ting, ting.
No, like doing the puzzle pieces. Because you do sort of all the ones you can, and then you measure the next, then you do all them, and then you measure the next.
Okay.
All right, so we are pretty much on the home straight now. It's looking how it's going to look. We just have to do the finishing touches now. So next step here is using this guy with a flush trim bit. And we're going to flush trim all of these edges here because I made the face frame like an extra mil sort of thicker than the actual 2 bits of MDF that are behind it, just so I could do this. I'd rather be thicker than thinner because you can't add but you can subtract. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So we'll run this along the edge like this. And yeah, just clean up all the box edges and then get into sanding. So there's 2 taped up there. You might not remember, but we had a gap in between here. So this bit here is actually like 45 mil wide when the rest of them are about 40. So it protrudes about 5 mil under there. So we'll cut 2 pieces of timber, plane them down, and then nail them in against that, that side there, just to chunk it up a bit. We're going to need the smaller nail gun to get in there. Alright, so we've made these little plugs here. They're pretty easy to make. You just make them out of a scrap bit of oak, and then using a plug cutter, you just cut them on the drill press and then saw them off, and you have heaps of little plugs that you can go and chuck into your little holes. So we've got a bag here, and we're going to go around and plug all of the holes in the shelves. The goal is to kind of align the grain, so the grain's running this way on the back panel, so just getting the grain of the plug to run the same way so they blend in relatively seamlessly. We've got some cedar flavoured timber wood filler here. We're going to come through and fill in all of these nail holes, and then any sort of like gappiness we're going to fill in as well. And then we'll come back and sand that off and stain it. All right, remember this guy. What we've got here is we've got a little patch of timber here. Ignore the dirtiness and the fact that it's a bit yellow, but all that really matters is that the grain is quite similar. Got some double-sided tape on the back. We're going to double-sided tape that to the area that we want to fix. We're going to line it up with the existing face frame. Then we're going to come back with our knife and create a nice little groove here for our chisel to rest in when we go to chisel away the material. And we're going to take off our patch. And we're going to use the culprit to help us. So we're going to route out the internal here, and then we'll get close to the edge and we'll chisel out the rest of it. I'm just going to put a bit of blue tape on these cut lines so I can see them a bit better, so I don't route outside of those. Which honestly, the way I'm going is more than likely to happen. And what we're doing here is we're setting this to the depth of our patch, so it'll sit nice and flush in there once we're done. Bit of a dry fit. Right, I'm not going to push it in too much further than that because I won't be able to get it out. But that's how she's kind of looking. So a bit of glue.
Right, that's it. So at the start of the video, I said that I was going to try and finish this in 9 weeks in time for Mum and Dad to get back from Europe. Mum and Dad got back from Europe about 4 months ago, so that gives you an idea of how long this actually took. However, I did look at the numbers, the hours I put into this, and it was only 71 hours total. So I kept track of that. That's the equivalent of like 2 work weeks. So if I really wanted to push myself, I could have knocked it over in the time, except I lacked probably motivation at times, and also time as well with my other work, taking up most of that. So we got there in the end. I actually think it looks really good. I'm very happy with it. I like the dark stain. I think it really makes all of the ceramic mugs and colours pop, and it really gives that a space to sort of shine, which is exactly what Mum was looking for. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.